Only a sucker wouldn't like Tucker. Cable news powerhouse Tucker Carlson's brand new book is out today on the state of the media. It's called The Long Slide, 30 Years in American Journalism. You can get it in person wherever books are sold or buy it on tuckercarlson.com. He has that, where you can also get a signed copy. Tucker joins us right now to talk about it. Hi, Tucker. How you doing?
Oh, couldn't be better, Greg Gutfeld.
Excellent, excellent. I was always a fan of your writing before I even knew you. And one thing I learned from you once is that you don't like to write.
Well, nobody likes to write. You have to be defective to like to write. Sit and create something out of nothing in front of a blank terminal?
Yes.
That's like hell.
Yes.
But it's reward, as you know, I mean, you started as a writer too, you still are. It's deeply rewarding. I'm glad I've done it. I don't want to do too much more, if I can help it.
Yes. Yeah. But these are all these are essays that have been refined in everything. So it's aside from the long introduction in which you mention how much you like Al Sharpton, these are all older stories, correct?
Well, yeah, but they're framed by a reported piece I did, which is the beginning of the book, on Simon & Schuster, which published it.
Yes.
Which is one of the biggest publishers in the world and long a defender of the freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, the free flow of ideas, dissent, the ability to disagree, which has become one of the leading forces of censorship in the country, killing books because the Democratic Party doesn't like the book. So to write the introduction, to write this chapter, I interviewed the head of the company, Jonathan Karp, and the new head of Simon & Schuster, of the imprint, who was hired after the George Floyd riots with literally not one day of experience in the publishing business. And I asked them, wait a second, you're one of the biggest publishers in the world. How did you get to be censors? How did this happen? And we had this kind of amazing conversation. I thought they were pretty honest about their role in it. It was nauseating, if I'm going to be totally blunt with you, but it was certainly informative.
Yes. Dana?
Well, so, Tucker, I first came to know you when you were writing these longer magazine pieces in the, well, to say, in the late 90s, right? So we can age ourselves a little bit.
Many years ago.
And I loved reading your work, and I know that, the reporting part of it and the interviewing and getting to know people is also a really important thing. But I still think, I think that you do too, it's important for young people to learn how to write. What's the most important thing people can do today? Like if you're a young person and you want to be a writer and you want to kind of be like Tucker Carlson, how do you get those skills? What's the best way to learn how to write like this?
Well, there aren't many skills, actually. It's a trade, not a profession. First, don't go to journalism school. Yes. You'll meet the worst people in America, and it will make you dumber. Second, learn how to write clear English. We have the biggest language in human history. There are more ways to describe things in English than any other language. You've got all these words. Learn how to use them. Learn grammar, and learn how to write a clear declarative sentence. Subject, verb, repeat after me. Take out the adjectives. Adverbs are your enemy. Avoid them. Read Politics in the English Language by George Orwell, and just learn to write clearly. That's the whole trick right there. It's not hard at all.
That's really good.
Do you miss it at all? I mean, do you miss those pieces at all? Like writing them? I know not writing. But
well, I write every day. I write it more now than I've ever written in my life, but I don't get out of my weird little cave to talk to other people, and I definitely miss getting on the road to faraway places and meeting
don't mean
people.
to monopolize your time.
Yeah, Dana.
Sorry.
Jeez, Will.
Monopolize the time. I'm going to ask a really long question now. Hey, Tucker, a little bit like you, but not to your extent, I spent a lot of time in what we would call the mainstream media, ESPN or CNN. I'm fascinated by the idea of the long slide. In your experience, the media seems to have changed drastically since the election of Donald Trump, of the last 5 years. But was it always there? Do you think the attitudes that we are seeing today were always there in the media, covered up, or have they changed?
Well, there's always been that's such a great question. There's always been a totalitarian instinct on the right, because it's a kind of religious faith that, and so the instinct has been, well, anyone who disagrees with me is evil. But that was kept in check by the principles of journalism and publishing, which demanded open dialogue. You had to listen to the other side. You had to allow the other side to talk. That's what, liberalism was. That's the basic Enlightenment value, is you have to allow your ideas to be challenged, and you get to challenge the other side's ideas. That evaporated slowly and then quickly, just like bankruptcy. It happened over time and then all at once. And you sort of wake up in this totalitarian environment where no one's allowed to talk unless you're repeating a very small set of slogans. And the people in charge of the business, the editors, the publishers, the people who run TV networks, are all participating in it. It's like if you're 52 like I am, if you're an aging American, it's totally shocking to watch it.
Jessica.
Okay. So I also loved what you said about making it quick and dirty when you're writing. I remember getting into grad school and they said every comma could be a period. And I was like, oh, actually, that's true. But my question is about, you've obviously interviewed a ton of fascinating people, both sides of the aisle. Who would you most like to interview again if they would take your call?
Oh, gosh, that's such a great question.
Thank you.
There's so many people. I mean, honestly, I'd like to interview anybody in Democratic leadership. I'd like to interview a Democratic congressman. No one will talk to me. No one will come on the show. You're a white supremacist. We're not talking to you. Really? No, I'm not. I just have different ideas from you. Why are you calling me names? It's not even real. Just come on and talk to me like a normal human being. You and I talk all the time, have for a long time. We disagree. It's not that hard. It's fun. But they won't come on.
We definitely disagree. And most of the time, it is fun. I'll talk to my people. I'll try to get you a congressman.
Well, Tucker, Katie Pavlich here. I have to admit that I went to journalism school, so I'm sorry to disappoint you with that. But it's fascinating to me that you were your first job out of college was as a fact checker. And I think that fact checking has changed so much in addition to traditional journalism. So I want to get your take on that. But then I also want to know where we can buy your book, because I know that you have a different strategy.
Well, fact-checking used to require calling people on the phone and ask them questions. Now it entails going to Wikipedia, which, newsflash, is not a news source. Wikipedia is another form of propaganda. There's truth on it, as there always is in propaganda, but fundamentally it's not reliable. So that's not fact-checking, just so you know. The book is on TuckerCarlson.com. It's available in all different kinds of places, but the book is partly about the creeping power of the tech monopolies, which squelch speech and thought and freedom, and so why not go around them? We're trying a new version of distribution here on our website, and we'll see how it works. I hope it does. We need alternatives to what we have, I would say that.
Indeed. Well, best of luck.
Thanks so much.
All right, Tucker, can I ask him one more question? Is there anybody that you're reading now in journalism that you really like?
Oh, there's so many on Substack.
Right.
And I probably shouldn't say it because some are like refugees from the left, and I don't want to further discredit them by admitting I read them.
Good point.
But there are a bunch of people on. I know you read them. I gave up my New York Times and Washington Post subscriptions because it's just garbage. It's like stupid and boring. Yeah. Except the obits, which I still like, and Dana sends them to me. But other than that, I spend my money on Substack, and I'm really happy about it.
There's some really interesting writers out there right now, and they're all on Substack.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
All right, Tucker, thank you so much. His new book, The Long Slide, 30 Years in American Journalism, is on sale now. Straight ahead, reading and writing.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.